Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 117. And today I have this incredible, happy, joyful soul for you. His name is Spencer Jones, and here is his bio. Spencer ignites people's lights to chase their passion and helps others to live their life to the max. Known as the Prince of Positivity, which is true. You can tell just from looking at him. He shares his positive energy and spreads joy around the world. He does it by sharing tips and tricks and strategies to help others through his Daily Energize podcast, along with the Jonesin for Academy and various events. On a side note, this is what took me by surprise. On a side note, he is a classically trained pianist and choir director who has published 3 books and has been published in multiple magazines and websites. Oh my God, I can't wait to hear more about you. Welcome to my podcast.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm super excited to be here, have an amazing conversation, and share some love and energy with everybody who tunes in.
Yes, well, let's do it. Okay, Spencer, I love to hear a little bit about you growing up as a child. Were you always this happy? Tell me.
It's a great question. For me, yes and no. I've been more of the optimistic child. I always have been more optimistic growing up. But I used to let life determine how I was going to feel, right? If things were going well that day, I was happy. If things didn't go well, I wasn't happy. I was upset. And so for me, I really let life kind of go, but I was more primed, I would say, to have an optimistic viewpoint. Now, growing up, I was homeschooled, unlike the majority of my peers and friends out there. So I was homeschooled from the 3rd grade all the way up through high school. And then after I graduated high school, then I went to college and got my degree in music education and all that good stuff, which we can chat. But yeah, I started out being homeschooled. So it was interesting. It was a little more of an isolated environment, quiet environment. So the energy of the people around me was different than a friend of mine or peers who went to school.
Okay, so being homeschooled, a lot of people, by the way, now they're doing that for so many reasons that I don't want to mention right now. Schools are not being a good example, a lot of them, at least not all of them. Right. So did you find it difficult to make friends because you were homeschooled and you were not like in a typical classroom with boys and girls and all that? Was it difficult to make friends or you were fine?
It was difficult in a sense. For me, I'm an outgoing person. I'm not an introvert, I'm an extrovert. God, I couldn't think of the word for a second. I'm an extrovert. So making friends is easier for me, but I still didn't have a ton of opportunities to do that. Now, my brother was very much so an introvert and he was homeschooled. And so he did not make friends nearly as quickly or easily as I did. My parents helped with that, trying to get us to have some socializations with joining other homeschooled families in our area for different events, different things. I was a musician. I went to school for band and I played the oboe throughout my years in middle school and high school. And that's so I was able to make some friends kind of through band, but not as much. The thing that really allowed us to create those friendships were our PE class that we signed up for. It was a bunch of homeschooled families. We got together and we did ballroom dance class and lessons, if you believe it or not. So we got together. I did it for 5 years. I absolutely loved it. We learned routines. We competed. We just had a blast. So I got to know other kids my age who were homeschooled at our ballroom dance get-togethers on Tuesday. Then Friday night they had an open dance for everyone and for anyone who wanted to come. So my friends and I would go and we would just dance and do ballroom dancing. I don't know how many teenagers that I could think of or know that. What are you doing? 16, 17-year-old boy, what are you doing on a Friday night? I'm going to the ballroom. We're just going to go dance and have some fun. And that helped me socialize and get out there.
Yeah, so it was not too bad because you had these dancing classes and the music and all that. So it was not that bad, really. Okay, right. Talk to me. After you did college, How did you get into all this this passion of helping people?
Yeah, so well, it's interesting because, as I said, I was a musician younger, and that carried throughout college. I wanted to share music. I wanted to write movie scores was the initial plan, and write the music behind the movies. Still like to do that at points, but it shifted into becoming, okay, I need insurance, I need a job, a straight up job at the time. At least that was the stories that I was told and I listened to. So I became a music educator, got my degree in music education, and then
Nice.
for middle, elementary through high school. And I taught for 9 years in the middle school and high school classrooms. And I loved it. It was so much fun to teach kids how to sing and how to have fun. But really the thing that brought me joy was, yes, them singing, but it was a community that we created, the safe place we created for the kids where they could go away from the stressors of a family, of the struggles in other classrooms or friends or that aren't friends anymore, all the
The
drama,
streets.
right? All of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That they could come here to a safe place and know that they are loved, they're cared about, and that they can learn to express themselves. And they could do it through music, and we could teach music and learn how to do all that good stuff too. But it was really that connection. And so as I was teaching, I was all in. I was loving it. Probably 7 or so years into it, 7 out of the 9 years, I started to feel called to do something else, like pushed or pulled. It's not that I didn't love teaching, I did, but I could tell my heart wasn't into it as much as it has been before. And for me, realizing that, I'm going, okay, if my heart's not into it as much, I'm doing a disservice to my students because I'm not able to serve them as much. I'm still able to create amazing communities and bring this together, but it's not the same. It's not as impactful as it could be.
Yeah.
So I started to see what could that be. In the meantime, I started working out and getting fit. I gained over 40 pounds throughout college and into teaching. And I just wasn't happy with the way I looked and felt. So I started working out. And then from there, that led me to coaching other people to help get fit through Beachbody and all of their programs. Loved doing that. Loved helping people, realizing, oh, this is cool. I like it. And with Beachbody, they really promoted doing personal growth, personal development. I'm like, at first I was like, nope, I'm good. I don't even like professional development because, man, those in-services that we have to go through as teachers, that barely anything really pertains to me. It seems like such a waste of time. Personal growth has to be the same thing. Well, they kept saying it over and over and over again. And I listened to a couple of my friends. So I thought, all right, let's try it. But the problem was I really disliked reading. I disliked reading since I was a kid. I just struggled with it and I never learned to love it. Well, then so some people suggested, well, why don't you try an audiobook? Like, those are cool, or let's try those. So I'm like, okay, I love listening to The Lone Ranger as a kid on books on tape. So let's try this books on tape or CDs, the audiobook version now. So I was cheap. I didn't even do Audible. I rented a book from the library, an audiobook on the library, and it was Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. And oh my gosh.
Oh, that's an incredible book.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. And what I did is I listened to it. I started implementing the suggestions that they gave in day one. And literally by day two, seeing the results I had just within day one, the way I felt, the way I looked at life, I was hooked. And so then I just started listening to tons of personal development. And then a friend of mine said, hey, I'll send you a book. I'll just give it a shot and read it. I'm like, okay, cool, I'll read it. So it was the book Chop Wood, Carry Water, another amazing book by Joshua Metcalf, if I remember correctly. And it's a short book, simple, easy read. But then the lessons in there were amazing, and they had short chapters, so I had quick, easy wins. As a person who struggled reading, that was needed for me, and it kept me motivated to keep going. Then it's like he knew I finished a book. I didn't tell him, but I finished that book within like a week or 2 weeks. He sent me another one called The Energy Bus, which again, highly recommend The Energy Bus. It's another awesome book. That again, short, quick read, and I cruised through that, and oh my gosh, it opened my eyes to being in control of your mindset, of positivity, of all these different things that I was already starting to learn from the other books of personal development that I started to love reading. And so what happened for me is I started with fitness. And after I started doing personal development, listening and working on myself being my first client, I then said, well, let's help other people feel this way. So I started doing some one-on-one mindset work, helping other people and learning how I could serve them best. And then that guided me to doing what I'm doing today, where I made the transition and became a full-time entrepreneur. I left teaching in the classroom, teaching from stage, quote unquote, now, where I can help people have a positive, abundant mindset, how to manage their energy so that they could shine their light the brightest. And we have a bunch of different things that we do that with, but it's been such a fun adventure and honor to help people. And just like when I was teaching, the kids, when they get that aha moment, right? That music clicks, the idea happens, you're like, oh my gosh, it's like their eyes widen, the world opened up. I imagine you've had experience like that in somewhere in our life. Well, I get that same thing with adults. And instead of just it being in a classroom, it's literally around the world. I help people all the way from Australia to the UK to Turkey, all over the United States, Canada, and all over. It's been such a blessing to help people have the aha moment, to believe and love who they are in themselves, and to shine their light, because when they shine, they help ignite other people's lights.
Wow, that's incredible. Okay, besides the books you mentioned to me 5 audio books that changed your life.
Oh my gosh, 5 audio. Can I don't know if I can do audiobooks. Can I just name books? Because I've started.
Okay, yeah, books, yeah, fine. Because you said you started with audiobooks. That's why. Okay, Eat That Frog was one, and then
Eat That Frog. Okay, well, to Eat That Frog, we'll do Chop Wood, Carry Water, The Energy Bus, 3 must reads or listens right there. The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins is a great book too. And then James Clear.
Oh my
Atomic
God.
Habits.
Yeah, it's James Clear is oh my God, I just took it out again. What is the title of the book?
I think it's Atomic Habits.
Yeah, Atomic Habits. Yeah, I read it like a few years ago, and the name has been coming up quite a bit. So I did then took it out again, but I haven't started it. Yeah, that book is great. So you haven't read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill yet?
I have it, but I haven't read it yet. But I've heard it's such an amazing book, and I can't wait to read it.
It is, yeah, it is. Like it changed a lot of people's lives. It's the whole story, the whole book. You have to get the original one because there are so many versions of them now. But get the original one. Yeah, okay. So those books, and then you wrote books.
Right.
Talk to me about that.
So on this figuring out of what I want to do and how I shine my light best, because I didn't know that that's what I was. Like I knew I taught in the classroom, but I wasn't considering myself like my purpose, my light was to be a teacher. And only recently have I discovered, or I discovered is the best word for it, that, oh, I am a teacher. This is who I am, right? I'm this igniter of lights. So I was experimenting, trying to figure it out before. And so for me, I chased one of my passions, which is something I hope everybody does, that you chase your passions because that brings you joy, re-energizes you, all that. One of my passions is kayak fishing. So I was lucky enough where I had a mini series and I traveled the country kayak fishing and I took people along on adventures, and I had a blast writing for different magazines and articles. And then based on a couple of my experiences, I wrote a book. One's a really short book about kayak fishing offshore. We chased sailfish out of our kayaks, fish that are 6, 7, 8 feet plus long out of our 12-foot kayaks. So that was fun. Another one's just a compilation of my adventures, of different kayak fishing adventures, and how a person could go around the world, essentially kayak fishing, and the different ways to do it, from really cheaply and inexpensively to the lush kind of life of making it happen. So it's been fun writing those books. And from there, it was like, well, this is great. And let me say this. I wrote those articles and books when I disliked reading. This was the funniest part. I disliked reading so much, but yet I'm like, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to do this so I can help people. So I wrote a book. My wife, thank God, is an amazing writer and editor. And so she took it and edited them and helped me on my horrible English to really make it what they are. And then I started reading and really absorbing even more. I'm like, okay, I'm getting the itch to write another book, but I want to do something different. So I then took what I've learned and through my personal development journey, all the books I've read, all the work I've done on myself, all the work I put on and helped with my clients, I put into a book of personal development called Chase Your Passions. It's the no nonsense guide to living
Beautiful.
your life to the max. And that book is designed to help walk you through and give you the tools and strategies to create a roadmap to make your dreams a reality for you, to live your life to the max, get the most out of life. So that was a fun adventure, writing that book. That's been a couple years now. That came out in April of 2020. And I would say last year, I don't know if the people listening, after you write a book, you're like, I'm done writing books. Like, this is good. I don't ever have to write another book. And then for me, at least, about a year later, I went, I think I want to write another book. I don't know. I got this urge. So I'm again mixing it up, and I'm working on my fourth book, which is totally opposite. Instead of being a nonfiction, it's a fiction book. It's going to be a story, a narrative of this person, but teaching the concepts of positive mindset, of energy, sovereignty, of all the stuff we teach, but through this narrative. And totally different. I started it. I had to put it away for a bit because life got crazy busy and it just wasn't feeling right at the time. But now in 2023, I'm going to pick it back up and make it happen so we can release it either end of 2023 or 2024, have that book out for people.
Amazing. Did you, can you share the title of your personal development book? What is the title of the book?
Yeah, it's called Chase Your Passions.
Chase Your Passions. I love the title of it. Can you send it to me in Messenger? Like, I would really love a copy. Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
and can't wait for your 2023 book also. Thank you.
Thank you. Think of it like the way I'm thinking about it's like kind of like The Alchemist, kind of, but obviously a different storyline. So it's gonna be a fun one.
Can you believe The Alchemist, like how it became? Did you read the whole story of how it was rejected by so many
people? That would be one of my top fives too. I've like so many. Alchemist, Think Like a Monk, I'd throw in. I don't know. Let's do like a top 100 and we might touch them all. But yeah, The Alchemist, that story is so incredible about just being denied, and then finally getting it, and then reading more about how that story shifted personally. If you read his other books, it's amazing.
I know. Like I couldn't, like I was literally like at night, I couldn't, like it would fall on my chest. I fall asleep. That's how much I didn't want to leave it because I wanted to know what's going to happen next. I love books like that. Yeah, it's an incredible book. So I'm guessing your 2023 is going to be something similar.
That's the hope. The hope is that it's a page turner and people will be falling asleep reading it because, in the sense, not that it's boring, but because they just can't wait to see it and their eyes are closing on them. So we are hoping.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Okay, talk to me. You've been in magazines, your website, and talk to me about your podcast.
So yeah, I just want to help people, right? I want to help ignite light. So what's one of the ways we could do that? One of the ways has grown a lot and still is podcast. So I started a podcast. I can think of this, really. I can. 4 years ago.
Oh wow!
So like 2018. That sounds right. 2018.
Okay.
Or maybe no. I lied. It's 2019. My mistake. So 2019, I started a podcast called the Jonesin 4 Show. Jonesin 4 is the name of our business, and it's about, what are you Jonesin for? What do you want? What are you craving? So the Jonesin 4 Show is me talking either solo shows and or doing interviews with people to help offer tips, tricks, strategies so you can live your life to the max. We've had Olympians on. We've had people who have survived cancer. We've had people who are just seeming your run-of-the-mill ordinary people, but have gone through amazing experiences and can offer their wisdom to people. So we started with that, and we did 130 episodes, and then we put a hiatus on that. We're bringing it back for season 2 here in February of 2023. So we're bringing that back for about a 25 episode season 2. And then last year of September of 2021, we started the Daily Energize. So it's a 5-day week podcast, Monday through Friday, where you get short episodes that are 5 to 10 minutes long. to help give you a jolt of energy and a quick tip to start your day. Because we're thinking, okay, people are going to work, maybe they're driving to work, or maybe they're at home and they just want to get their mindset set for the day or be in the right focus and mindset to really crush their goals and dreams of that day. So let's make a podcast, something short, something sweet that they can really take home and rock and roll with. So 5 to 10 minutes. I've heard people listen to it in the car, in the shower, different things that they're ready to go every day.
And I am going to be one of those people from today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Okay, just a question on leadership a little bit. What makes a great leader?
That is a great question. And I would imagine you get a lot of different responses.
Yeah.
For me, I would say a great leader is a person who shows by example, who helps guide other people to being their best, to shining their light the best, that they are a person who's heart-centered, who's there, who's caring, who's not forcing, not micromanaging at all, but being supportive, almost more like a coach in a sense of helping those people be at their best, but yet give them the tools and strategies they need along the way, kind of like what a coach would do. So the person who, what makes a good leader is a person who loves, who cares, and is there for their team.
Yeah. Excellent response. I really like it. I really, really love it, actually. Okay, so what would you say to all those who are struggling with mental health right now? And a lot of suicides are happening, especially since COVID, right? Young and the middle-aged and the older ones, it's happening a lot. What would you say to the younger generation who is struggling with mental health? What would you advise them?
As a person who has struggled myself, who was on the verge of committing suicide,
Oh my God.
that to know you're not alone. I know that you feel like you are alone in that time, that no one's there, no one cares, no one's going to listen. I know that's what it feels like, but no, that's not true. That there are people who care, that there's people and organizations you can reach out to. Heck, reach out to me. Even if we don't know each other, reach out, right? You can find me on social media. You can send me an email, spencer@spencermjones.com. I got you. I'll be there, right? And I could help direct you to other amazing people who will be there for you. But with saying that, I know it's not always easy or comfortable, and you want to do the work. For me, it came down to belief system, that I was struggling to love me for me. I let my guilt, my shame just bury me. And I know that's not necessarily the case for everyone, but I believe for a lot of us, we let that guilt and shame drown us. Like you're trying to drink from that fire hose and all it's doing is just drowning you with the guilt, the shame, the struggle, the anxiety, the stress, all of those things. That remember that you, first of all, are not alone, but that you are amazing just the way you are, that you are worthy to have those goals and dreams. I don't care what other people say, telling you you're stupid or you're dumb or ugly or whatever. No, you are worthy of your goals and dreams. You are worthy just the way you are, and that you are enough just the way you are. Right? You don't have to do anything or change anything or prove anything to anyone, that you are enough just the way you are. What I realized on my journey, when I had to look inward and I realized, I don't love Spencer. Heck, I didn't like me. I didn't love me. Heck, there's points that I hated me because of the choices that I made. I let my ego build me up, and I followed through with choices that were damaging, that hurt me, that hurt people I love. And it was overwhelming. And so what I had to realize is, okay, I'm human. We all make mistakes. Let's learn from it. Let's grow from it as much as we can. There's always a positive in everything. It might be very small and seem minuscule, but there's a positive. Grab onto that and just hold on, keep working, and then you'll start to see more and more and more. And for me, I realized once I started doing that work, and I started, okay, I'm human. Let's work on this. Okay, why am I constantly beating myself up? Why is my inner bully giving me these guilt trips left and right? Why am I doing these things? And for me, I realized I felt and I believed that I needed to prove myself, to prove who I was to everyone, anyone. That's what guided me for so long in my life. That's what led me to make those decisions, as to prove myself and to realize I don't need to. You don't need to. No one needs to prove themselves at all. We're good. We don't have to prove them to anyone else or even ourselves, because you are enough just the way you are. So I saying it for people who are struggling right now. Remember, you're not alone. Remember, you are amazing. You are awesome. You are worthy, and you are enough just the way you are.
I'm getting emotional. Sorry. That is so
don't be
beautiful.
sorry. It's so many people are struggling. Suicide rates are going up. It's sad that people who have had experiences in their lives wanting to commit suicide or have, that some people are trying to silence them, to have them not share their story. And I say that needs to change. That needs to change. We need people to share their stories, because it needs to be okay to talk about it. It needs to be okay to be like, I'm struggling. That's okay. Right. And that's what I'm here to do. And other people are here to do, is to support you and go, no, you're not alone. We got you. We got you. You're part of our family.
Beautiful advice. Thank you so much. That is a much needed advice, because I personally, since COVID, knew 8, but in the last 5 weeks, 4. 2 of them were in their 20s. One was in his 40s. One was in his early 50s.
Oh
In the last 5 weeks.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so thank you. But yeah, it's not getting any easier, and it's just getting, and then the bullying, like in schools for the younger generation, and it's okay. One more advice for the bullies, please.
One more advice for the bullies.
Yeah.
Ask yourself this: if you are bullying someone else, maybe you don't even realize you're bullying someone else, but whatever action you take, is it responding with love? Is it something that you would want done to you? So many bullies hurt others because they've been hurt and they're just trying to deal with it, or don't know how to deal with it, so they just lash out. Maybe that's you if you're a bully, maybe it's not. But I invite you to think of this. Is what I'm doing, is what I'm saying, is it responding with love? Whatever that means. Maybe that means I'm not saying a word, I'm biting my tongue. Maybe that means I'm doing a specific action, something that's kind. Am I responding with love? If it's not, don't do it. Because what's the point? You're just hurting. You're just spreading hate. No, thank you.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much. I could talk to you all day.
I could talk to you all day. This has been amazing. It's so honored.
Thank you. Okay, before we close, what is your last advice to our listeners, or to those who are going to be watching this on YouTube as well?
Whew. Advice. Oh man, so many ways we could go with this.
Yeah.
My advice is this: to embrace life, to live in the moment. Yes, make your goals, make your plans, make the dreams, set those things in the future, then create the plan, but then come to this present moment. As things happen, you can look towards the past and learn and grow from it, but don't let that guilt, that shame bring you down. Take the lessons with you, release the guilt and shame, and keep those lessons going forward as wisdom. And then come to the present moment, because you are here right now. You only get this once. Embrace the moment. Look for the beautiful things. Enjoy them and savor them. Look for the gratitudes in your life. You have so many incredible blessings that we just take for granted.
Yes.
Take time to see them, to observe them, and to savor them. Breathe them in. Let them fill your heart with love, with light. Truly savor them. And then keep looking, because guess what? You're going to find more. Big ones, small ones, obvious ones, hidden ones. It's amazing what can happen. And as you're doing that, as you're living in the moment, I'm going to go back to what I said just a little bit ago, to respond with love, with everything. Respond with love. A person you love, great, respond with love. A person you dislike, respond with love. It's not always easy, but when you do, you yes, it helps other people. Yes, it's a beautiful thing to do for other people. But oh my gosh, that inner peace that comes from that, it's like nothing else.
Nailed it. Thank you so much. Oh my God, it has been a pleasure having you on as my guest. Thank you so much. I can't wait to bring you over again. So thank you. Until the next episode, everybody. I'm going to be posting his bio, all his social media links, his website. Please do get in touch with this young man. He is incredible. He's a great leader. As you can see, he is spreading positive energy everywhere he goes. Please do get in touch with him, and wishing you grace, peace, and balance. Thank you.